All right, so you guys know, if you follow the channel, that I do a lot of the peelers and they are stripped down to bare metal. So I had some of you guys asking me, what do I do? How do I paint them? So I want to go over some of the products that we have with the Glazeret system and what things you want to use on different metals. So you guys have seen me in the past use the multi-wipes. These are a product made by Glazeret. When I was using the PPG, I used to use the other company because PPG didn't make their own wipes at the time. So when we switched out to the Glazeret, I was happy because they have their own wipes, and these are designed for steel. So this is not recommended for the aluminum. So you have a different wipe, which is the 2000 Advanced Prep Wipes. These are made for aluminum and magnesium. So this is what you would use when you get a small breakthrough on some aluminum panels and you want to make sure that you get good adhesion. So if you ever get an edge broke through, you've seen in the past videos, we've wiped them down with the other multi-prep wipe, which is made for the steel. These are the ones you want to get for the aluminum. So that is just for small areas, just as a precaution to make sure that you're going to have good adhesion. When you're stripping a full panel like this one here, we always use the epoxy. So we mix our epoxy up as a wet on wet sealer. We put a nice coat on, we let it dry. We have to give that the full amount of time to cure before you apply your base coat. But to me, through the years, and even when we were using the PPG system, you guys know, we always used the epoxy. Even on our restoration jobs, when we've done some of the old school cars here at the shop, we primed them and then we did our body work over the epoxy. So that has been my trusted way of doing it for many years, by doing it with the epoxy. So you get it stripped down, you'll have the body man or whoever's stripping it to 180. I like to refine it to 320 just to cut down maybe some of the harsh DA marks. And then I move right into our epoxy sealer and we get that thing all handled without having to prime it and sand it and do all that extra work. So one other thing that we do use when we're cleaning the metal here with the Glazeret is this 360-4. This is a metal cleaner designed to clean the metal panel off, and it's one of the best cleaners that I've ever used so far. I didn't use anything like this with the PPG. I use more of their alcohol-based cleaners, but this one is designed for bare metal. And we'll go ahead and wipe it down. I'll show you guys how much it really cleans the metal and it changes the metal, and it really gives you a nice surface to apply whatever you're going to apply to it. And then if you do have some bare metal, we have the old school etch. So I haven't been using the etch primer anymore because it likes to get grainy. You always end up having to scuff it. So that's where I think that those etch wipes and the new 2000 wipes for the aluminum have really come in handy, because they don't leave any dry overspray. So you don't have to worry about having areas you might have to scuff back off and retack it. So let's go ahead, get this thing metal prepped out with the cleaner. I'll show you guys the metal now, then I'll show you guys after we clean it. And then we'll go ahead and apply our epoxy sealer on it and get this job all finished up. We're gonna go ahead and wipe it down with some of these pre-cleaning rags with our 360-4 metal cleaner. We'll wipe it on and we'll wipe it off. We're gonna go ahead and hit the hood and the two doors that are stripped down. As far as the vehicle goes, we're just gonna hit that with our normal cleaner. But this is what I'm talking about, that would be a good spot for just the metal etch wipes. If you were to hit this with the spray bomb, you know you'd spread that over further than you want, and this would get grainy. So once you get the wipes out, you can just hit that nice and easy. We'll do that, but we'll first clean the hood off, and I want to show you guys how nice it does for cleaning the metal. And look at all the black that comes off of that metal. So that's the difference between using a normal prep sol or using the waterborne cleaner, which you would not want to put on the bare metal. But this stuff here, this 360-4, just cleans this stuff up phenomenally. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of the side of the hood done, and then we'll move on to hitting everything with our epoxy. This we'll go ahead and hit with our normal waterborne cleaner with our microfibers. I don't like to use the solvents too much with the microfibers, especially on the blend panels, because sometimes it will pull some of the dye out of the towel. So never use a microfiber towel with lacquer thinner. You'll learn right away it'll stain that paint and you'll have to sand it off. So we'll do our normal cleaning on this, and then we'll get into hitting that one little spot over there with the etch wipes, and then we can move right into our epoxy. And I'll show you guys what epoxy we're using. That one can also be used as a primer like we used to use the PPG, or a wet on wet sealer. So let's go ahead, finish wiping this, and then get that etch on that spot, and then we can go ahead and get it sealed up. All right, now we'll take our prep wipe and we'll hit just that little spot with it. That's what I like about these wipes. They don't blow the overspray all over the place, and they don't really cause any trouble if you do get it on the paint that I've seen. So I just hit it, let that dry. You want to make sure you get enough on it and wet it up. That way it stays wet and actually puts its barrier down. And then when we do seal it, I will hit that spot right here just to get this all the same color, because that's the only breakthrough we have on our blend panel. So let's go ahead, get this thing blown off, and we will hit it with our epoxy 801-76 mixed as our epoxy sealer, and we'll give it a 30-minute flash before we move into the base. All right, so we applied the epoxy. Now what I'll do is I'll turn the booth up to about 110 for about 30 minutes to make sure that that product is flashed off properly. That is a slower product than your normal 2Ks. You always want to give it more time. We did the same thing when we used it in the PPG. So now you have the best thing you could possibly put on that metal, on that vehicle, for adhesion as well as corrosion. So you're not playing around with etch wipes and urethane sealers or any of that stuff. You're being able to move right in from a strip panel to treating it with the epoxy and giving it the best job possible. All right, so that's been a half hour, and you can see that it is fully flashed off. And now we have it to where we're gonna be able to apply our base coat. So this is the way to do it. If you are stripping down panels, you're not gonna have to worry about urethane priming it. Strip it completely, get everything off of that panel, because if you try to feather edge that stuff that's peeling, all you're gonna do is have problems later with lifting or just things mapping out. When you have it fully stripped and you have that nice even layer of metal, you have no chance of having any shrinkage because there's nothing to shrink. So we're gonna go ahead, spray it real quick, and I'll show you guys the job all finished up. Let's do a quick recap of the products that we're using here at the shop when we're dealing with bare metal. So the first product when we're cleaning is 360-Floor, which is a beautiful product to clean the bare metal up, and it gives it a nice clean panel. If we're gonna use a spray can, we have it in the etch primer. This one here can be used on aluminum as well as steel, but I'm not a fan of it because it likes to give overspray and then it has dry spray. So that's where I like the wipes. These here are the ones that are designed for steel, and then I showed you the other ones that are designed for magnesium as well as aluminum. And we use these on just small bare metal areas, and then we'll move into our normal urethane sealer. When we have a big panel that is completely stripped down or a big large area, we always resort back to our epoxy, which is to me the best product you can use on bare metal. And this is also what we would use on something if we were doing a restoration job like we did on the old Cutlass here at the shop. We stripped it to bare metal, epoxied it, let it dry, did our body work over the epoxy, and then moved through that job. That way we have the best corrosion protection against having anything go wrong with that job. That has been the best way that I've found through all the years of doing this. So I just wanted to show you guys that you'll save time by not priming it, but you'll also give it the best outcome because you're using the best product designed to go on metal. So I hope you guys got something out of the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.